What is happening, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Ty from Ty Drives with the GoPro strapped to my head. Who's ready for a test drive on the 2025 Volvo XC40? Now this is a pretty cool one. We've got sand dune exterior color, which is new for 2025. And I'll give you guys a quick overview before we get it out on the road. But nice styling with this car. It's got the dark theme, which means we have glossy black accents instead of chrome. Optional 20-inch wheels on this car. As you can see, lots of glossy black around the windows, on the roof rails and the mirrors as well. Particular sticker price of this one is $51,040, including all options and destination. And I've always thought the XC40 is a really kind of cool looking car. It's kind of funky, but it's definitely still Volvo. And a huge thanks to my friends at Valenti Volvo in Watertown, Connecticut for making this video possible. Now, of course, we have the powered trunk. Pretty good amount of space for a vehicle of this size in the rear. We've got the cargo cover and some hidden storage down below. 60-40 split seats with a pass-through. In the rear, there's actually a really good amount of space. Not a whole lot of space, I guess, lengthwise for your legs. But widthwise, it actually feels quite a bit bigger than it actually is. So, you know, this seat is moved a bit back farther than normal just for filming purposes, but I still have an inch of legroom. We have heated seats back here, USB-C chargers, and air vents. And the panoramic roof definitely helps to lighten things up back here in a charcoal leather interior. Super solid doors. We've got the Harman Kardon audio system, 2-person memory seats, very nice and comfortable, you know, seats with 4-way lumbar, adjustable thigh support. And here we are. Now that we're started up here, it's a little bit of a strange starting sequence in the XC40 because it's a mild hybrid engine, so you don't hear kind of a starter cranking over the engine. You just kind of hear the turbocharged 4-cylinder kind of whir to life. It's pretty interesting. But seatbelt on, safety first. Let's take this XC40 for a test drive. All right, so on our way to the beginning of our test drive, I'll give you a little idea on what this video is going to entail. Our first segment of the video is going to be kind of on a more main road, so we could see what the XC40 is like up at higher speeds, and then we'll get it out onto a back road. We'll do an acceleration clip, see how this turbocharged inline 4 performs with a kind of simulated on-ramp, highway on-ramp acceleration. And the rest of the road is kind of just going to be some nice back roads through New England here. So it'll be a nice test drive we have planned out for you. Now, I've always liked the XC40. You know, to me, it's a good size vehicle. It's not huge, it's not extra small. It's kind of like right in that niche kind of area of size, for me at least. It's a good size. It's got some cargo space, it's got some rear seat room, and it's got plenty of kind of width too. But it's, to me, this is a good size. And I've always kind of liked the XC40 because it's a little bit funky, but it's, you know, as I said, it's still very obviously Volvo. It's also very nimble too, so if you live in a city, it'll be great for parking, you know, parallel parking, things like that. But now that we kind of have it up to, you know, 45 miles an hour, you know, traffic conditions are a little bit heavy. It's lunchtime right about now, so but, you know, all things aside, it drives great so far. This, you know, I've driven these in the past and they always impress me, but it's a very quiet ride. Good sound deadening too. You can barely hear the oncoming traffic. There's a little bit of tire noise because we have the larger 20-inch wheels, but nothing we can't handle. So definitely a nice ride at, you know, kind of somewhat of higher speeds. Now we're going to take this right, and that's going to be the start of our back road, and we'll kick it off with an acceleration test as soon as our light turns green here. And off we go. If nobody turns behind us, we'll do an acceleration from a stop. If not, we'll kind of do 25 and on, and it looks like we have somebody behind us. So we'll get it up to 25, and we'll see what we could do here. Here we go. Yeah, so the XC40 is truly no slouch. We are working with a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, as I said earlier, 247 horsepower, 258 pound-feet of torque, which aren't the biggest numbers in the world, but you have to remember the size of this vehicle. It's a pretty small car, so this scoots along just fine. I think the 0 to 60 time is in the low 6-second range, so that's pretty good. It's pretty good. Definitely no issues with merging onto a highway or even passing power on a highway. This car does have a great amount of power, and everything is hooked up to a 8-speed automatic transmission, you know, conventional 8-speed and standard all-wheel drive. So definitely a pretty solid power plant in the XC40. Now there is a fully electric version of the XC40, and we have filmed multiple videos on those in the past. So if you're interested in one of those, check my channel Ty Drives for a test drive and features review and all that good stuff. Speaking of a features review, we did do a full one on this very vehicle. So if you're interested in you know, knowing all the exterior features under the hood and the trunk and all that good stuff, definitely check my channel, or just wait to the end of this video because I will provide a link to that. Kind of a bumpy road here, going down this hill. And yeah, even with the larger wheels that are offered on this car and some smaller tires, the XC40 really does ride very nice, and definitely solid. Very solid feeling driving this across the bumps. You do get some pretty cool turbo noises in some instances, so that's pretty cool. And the engine, for the most part, does remain quiet, except for, you know, on throttle instances. Feels pretty good around the corners. There is a little bit of body roll, you know. At the end of the day, this is a taller, you know, SUV or kind of crossover, I guess you could say. So it does have a bit of body roll around the corners, but for the most part, the steering feels good. And there's also there isn't really any driving modes that you could put this car in except for off-road mode. So there's no real sport or like efficiency. It's kind of like just in a normal mode as it comes, but there is an option to kind of firm up the steering, which is pretty interesting. So that makes it feel a little bit better there. You could definitely hear and feel the rush of the turbocharger when it kicks in, so that's pretty cool. This engine definitely does have a little bit of character to it. Now what you're staring at right now is a fully digital gauge cluster, so we can see the Google Maps in there. We can toggle that on and off if you'd like. And we also have the speed limit on the particular road that we're on. That's pretty cool. Very nice vertical touchscreen with a very heavily inspired Google touchscreen there. We got the Google Maps for the navigation. Also the Google for the voice commands and things like that. Gear changes with this 8-speed automatic are very seamless and pretty quick too, so no complaints with the transmission. And it's a very smooth riding car. I'm actually kind of surprised, even with these larger wheels, it still rides pretty darn smooth. But that pretty much does it for the POV test drive on the 2025 Volvo XC40. By now, that little link should be popping up for your full features review. Make sure you check that one out and stick with us here on Ty Drives. Thank you very much for watching.